All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Of course, all this week, all last week, with J.D. Hayworth, who's on the Newsmax news desk down in Florida. I'm remotely located here in New York. J.D., it's been a pleasure. I thank you again. Can I just make a point to you, and I'd love your take on this before we go to our guest, Peter King, and maybe he could weigh in on this also. Look, this is a war that we're in right now, a war against the media as well as Hillary. Those emails from the DNC, those racist, homophobic, sexist emails would have sunk Donald Trump in a second. It would have been over. Would have been over for the whole Republican Party. That was ignored. Everything Hillary does is ignored. It's a war. The media is going to protect Hillary more than ever and go after Donald Trump more than ever. I don't think he's equipped to handle it. He's not fighting back. And the surrogates, like Paul Ryan, McConnell, the rest of them, they're in the tank against him also.
Well, there is a clear and abiding double standard. That is a given. The new wrinkle, of course, is that Republican leadership heads for the hills or heads for a, quote, politically correct response. But Donald Trump has been such a quick study to the political scene. I don't think everything is quite played out. And with 98 days until the general election, it remains to be seen. Tell you what, let's welcome in our special guest. Steve mentioned him. He's my old colleague from Capitol Hill, Congressman Peter King, former chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, current chairman of the Subcommittee on Terrorism, and a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Pete, you're a very intelligent guy, and we're happy to have you on here tonight.
Thank you, J.D. Great to be with you. Good to be with you too, Steve.
Thank you, Peter. What do you think about what I just said to J.D.? I mean, what I hear from inside the camp, and it's no surprise, is that Donald won't listen to anybody. And he's going to have to start listening to people because not only does he have 3 debates, but every day they're going to attack him in the media and forget what Hillary has done. And he's got to have something ready to go.
Yeah, several things. One, I totally agree with you that the media is going to do all they can to protect Hillary. Even during the convention, I'm talking to people who were there. There was constant heckling of Hillary. There was real anger coming from the Sanders people. There were demonstrations out in the street. There were also some anti-Semitic incidents out in the street, all of which were ignored by the media. If that had happened during the Republican convention, I was on the floor of the Republican convention, and after that first night, it was almost total unanimity for Trump. The mood on the floor was positive. And even the night after Ted Cruz refused to make the endorsement, we had more and more people coming from the Cruz delegations saying that they were supporting Trump. I mean, this was a very positive convention. So obviously the media is biased, and they're going to jump on everything that Donald Trump says. Now, having said that, he does have to be more careful. I mean, what he said, quite frankly, about the Muslim family was wrong. What he just should have said is he honored their son's service. No one can understand the grief they're going through, and leave it at that. There was no need to respond to them because he has to know that the media is going to jump on him for that. And he has to have, I think, people around him who are going to be able, listen, if he wants to go ahead and say something, that's one thing, but he has to realize what the consequences are in the political world, and that's where he has to have either people around him or people he's going to listen to, and then he has to fight back, but like on this one, he really can't fight back without just making it worse for himself.
So here's what I'm wondering, Pete. Here's what I'm wondering. Yeah. You obviously are in that buzzsaw of the New York media day after day. So has Donald Trump been there. It's a little different perspective when you get into politics. Has anybody come to you with the offer, look, we got to set up like a campaign cabinet, guys from New York, guys who may have some shared experiences to talk with Mr. Trump about the ringer he's going through?
Yeah, I've been talking to several people, including John Laval, who is the Republican chairman in Suffolk County on Long Island, who has become very close to Donald Trump, and he's made a number of appearances for him on different cable TV stations, particularly CNN. And he's been a real strong fighter for Donald Trump. And the importance of getting people around Donald Trump who can, and John, I believe, agrees with me. I don't want to be putting words in his mouth over the air, but that he can be an outstanding candidate. He has a unique ability to make contact with the average person, the person who's been ignored for too long, but he can't be making unforced errors because the media is going to cloud his message. I mean, for instance, the media, as far as I know, never went and asked Hillary about how she felt when the mother of the person who was killed at Benghazi, when she said that she holds Hillary Clinton responsible for the death of her son. Now, why didn't the media go to Hillary? Why didn't they push her on that? They didn't. But Donald Trump has to be made aware of that. He has to realize that now that it's one-on-one and it's him versus the entire media, he has to watch how he says it and then go for the kill later on. I have no problem with that, but he can't leave himself open.
Congressman Barack Obama weighed in today on this Gold Star family issue. Let's hear what he said, then I'm going to ask you a question. Go ahead. Let's watch him.
Our Gold Star families have made a sacrifice that most of us cannot even begin to imagine. They represent the very best of our country. They continue to inspire us every day, every moment. They serve as a powerful reminder of the true strength of America. And we have to do everything we can for those families and honor them and be humbled by them.
Okay, that doesn't include, of course, the Benghazi families, but let me just ask you this. I mean, once the father stood up there and gratuitously attacked Donald Trump, held up the Constitution, accused him of never reading it, which, by the way, nothing in Barack Obama, in Donald Trump's immigration plans or policies has anything to do with the Constitution. Nobody has a constitutional right to come into this country, whether you agree with what he says about Muslims or not. Once you go out there and put yourself out there, you open yourself up, legitimately so, for criticism.
Theoretically, yes, but the reality is it's a Gold Star family, and it would have been better just to say, I honor their son's service and leave it at that, because it just rubs people the wrong way, Steve. That's just the reality of that, and it's something where listen. I've been in that situation when I held the hearings on Muslim radicalization. There was a woman from Long Island whose son was killed on 9/11. He was a Muslim. There was a brief issue for a few days whether or not he may have had some involvement, but it was all resolved. He got a hero's funeral, but she was angry at me for holding the hearings. I gave her a front row seat at the hearing, and afterwards she and Keith Ellison both attacked me for holding the hearings. And when the media came to me, I just said, listen, she lost her son. She's entitled to say what she wants, and leave it at that, rather than get into it. But I think what President Obama is doing is totally hypocritical, because where was he, as you say, with the Gold Star families with Benghazi? He lied to the American people. What he did is worse than what Donald Trump did, far worse, because Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton lied to the American people and lied to those families about how their sons died.
Pete, we're going to go back to that now, I guess we'd call it infamous appearance with George Stephanopoulos, of all people, referred to with a straight face as a journalist, the former Clinton media coordinator. Right. At any rate, here it was, ABC News This Week yesterday. Let's look and listen.
I'd say we've had a lot of problems with radical Islamic terrorism. That's what I'd say. We have a lot of problems where you look at San Bernardino, you look at Orlando, you look at the World Trade Center, you look at so many different things. You look at what happened to the priest over the weekend in Paris, where his throat was cut, 85-year-old beloved Catholic priest. You look at what happened in Nice, France a couple of weeks ago. I'd say you got to take a look at that, because something's going on and it's not good.
So that part of Mr. Trump's message was just great, but it's a situation where he stepped on himself with the reference to the Muslim couple at the Democrat convention. Pete?
Everything you play there, I agree with 100%. I also agree with the fact that, as I've said many times, that too many people in the Muslim community do not cooperate with law enforcement, have not been cooperating enough. But when you overplay it the way Donald Trump did, then that whole other message gets lost. And that's the point I'm making. Not just for the sake of that family, but also for the sake of the message that Donald Trump is trying to get out there. He has to be more careful in how he says it.
About a minute remains. Steve, last word to you, sir.
Congressman, quickly, what do you? We played the soundbite in the last segment of Hillary with Chris Wallace saying that the FBI director said, "Oh no, he said I told the truth." I mean, where's the media killing her on that? Washington Post fact checker gave her 4 Pinocchios. I think they should change the standard to Clintons, 4 Clintons.
No, what she said was just totally untrue. And that's why, again, I hope for the debate that Donald Trump knows exactly what Jim Comey said, knows exactly what she did and didn't do with those emails, because there's so much on the record that can devastate her. I don't want him overplaying his hand there also, leaving himself open. If he just sticks to the facts, he can tear her apart.
Thank you, Congressman.
Hey, I got to tell you,
Thanks,
it's great to have you, Pete. And Steve Malzberg, you have come up with another gem, challenging the Washington Post to change it from Pinocchio's to Clinton's. Man, that's beautiful. I really like that.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, there is more to come here on the eponymously named Steve Malzberg Show with J.D. Hayworth tag teaming from our national news desk. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Jonathan Tobin, the senior online editor of Commentary magazine. I'm sure that Jonathan will have his own unique commentary and point of view to offer, so you stay with us as the Steve Malzberg Show continues on Newsmax TV.